Bonjour tout le monde, je vous souhaite la bienvenue à cette nouvelle séance qui s'intitule Faux amis, c'est pièges linguistiques entre l'anglais et le français, proposée par Shubh Language Academy en partenariat avec The French House Jaipur. Et comme vous comprenez bien qu'en français et en anglais, il y a des mots communs qui peuvent produire beaucoup de confusion, alors on les appelle les faux amis. Et juste pour contextualiser un petit peu, les faux amis sont des mots qui se ressemblent en français ou en anglais, mais qui ont des significations différentes. Voilà, on comprend très bien que leur signification, c'est différent entre les deux. On ne peut pas les remplacer, on ne peut pas les échanger. Et ils peuvent induire en erreur les apprenants des deux langues. Par exemple, en français, actuellement, un mot super connu par tout le monde, signifie en ce moment, alors qu'en anglais, c'est actually, signifie en réalité. Voilà. Ces confusions peuvent entraîner des erreurs de communication. Alors, il est essentiel d'apprendre ces mots en contexte pour éviter les malentendus. Les faux amis existent en raison de l'évolution différente des langues malgré des racines communes. Voilà. Et donc, c'était la réponse. Pour progresser en anglais ou en français, il est vraiment nécessaire de les mémoriser et après, bien sûr, de les utiliser d'une façon correcte. Alors, pour commencer, quels sont les problèmes ou quels sont les obstacles ou quels sont les défis auxquels on peut faire face si on ne fait pas attention à ces faux amis? Est-ce que vous avez déjà eu cette situation où vous avez mal utilisé ou vous avez mal compris? Est-ce que vous avez autre expérience en ce qui concerne les faux amis? Oui? So what does that mean, faux amis? Any idea about that, these words?
So basically, like it's the word like when we use a common script. For
Right.
example, you said see you said long or utilise les alphabets comment écrire le roman script comme allemand,
Oui.
espagnol,
Oui.
français.
Oui.
Donc, so in English, what happens like it has a different meaning,
Mm.
but in French, the very common example is pain. Okay, like pain, which is like pain in English,
English.
but in French it is which is like bread.
Bread. Pain. P-A-I-N.
And
Exactly.
another typical one is camera, like camera and apparently photo, both are
Oui.
exactly different. So camera
Exactly.
is used for a video camera for to shoot
Mm.
a film,
Mm.
and if you want to take a photo, we normally use apparently photo.
Voilà, très bien, un appareil photo, très bien. So that's correct, Shubhashish. Thank you for putting the context again in place. What are
And
the yeah?
when I explain to my students, I say that as a false friend is always like will always misguide you. Similarly,
Yes,
false he will misguide you. So this is how
that's
I
true.
explain to my students when I introduce the concept of false ami.
Absolutely, tout à fait. C'est correct. So what are the drawbacks in case if we don't pay attention to false friends? In English, the term is false friends, and in French, you have faux amis. So it leads to misunderstandings, and it's very important that we do away with the misunderstandings at the very outset, because when we're learning a foreign language, and if let's say we already know English and English comes in between trying to help us, but it doesn't help us at all. On the contrary, it makes the situation worse for us. Then the French person who is trying to understand us in French would not be able to understand us. For example, let's say someone wants to say that I'm actually sick. Why did not you come to the party, or why are you not coming to the class? Oh, I'm actually sick. And we end up saying, je suis actuellement malade, right? So I am currently sick. So je suis en réalité. So, someone would end up making a mess out of it and would say something else. So we have to be very careful of the fact that, when you say I'm actually sick, so actually the word, if you have to say actuellement, is like presently, and vice versa is also to be understood, that the word should not lead to a confusion or any kind of a situation wherein the other person is not sure as to what you are saying. So these false friends should be rightly done, and we have to move ahead accordingly. Also, we can understand that it also leads to loss of credibility if you don't use the right words at the right place. There are failed transactions, and especially in the business term, we have seen there's a word called affaire, AFFAIR, affaire. So in English, it has a different connotation altogether, whereas in French, in affaire, that's a business or a deal. So we see that how these words play a big role in terms of their usage. So we have to be very careful while we employ them. All right, so let's quickly jump on to the first word, which is the one that I was telling you, actuellement. Any guesses? What does that mean? What is that word? How does that word fall into the category of a false friend? Yeah, Shubhashish, you want to try?
Yeah, actually, it's like at this moment you can say.
Right. Yeah, so it's not what is yeah. So even I see some comments. Awesome, Momo. Exactly, Shubhashish and Chetna, and I think someone else has also written in the chat box. It's Sarab Ghai. Yeah, right now, nowadays, in this moment, presently. Yeah, and it's not actually. Yeah, so we end up using this word, especially with actually. So it has got nothing to do with actually. So that's a false friend. So if the sentence were Il travaille actuellement à Paris, which means he's presently working at Paris and not he's actually working at Paris. That will not make sense. All right, another word is assister. What does that mean? Yeah, Monica, you'd like to try?
Bonjour, monsieur. Oui, assister, c'est-à-dire aider quelqu'un.
Yeah, aider quelqu'un. Do you think assist is like
To
we'll
participate.
have that assist?
Participate.
Yeah, Shivashish?
To participate.
Yeah, to attend. To attend. Yeah, Kirti would like to say something?
Yeah, the same. To witness or to attend or
Yes,
participate.
to participate, exactly. So it is not to assist someone, it's not to help someone, it is to attend, to participate. I think even Sarab Guy has written in to attend. Yeah. So exactly, they make us feel as if it's to assist, but it's not to assist, it's not to help, it's to attend. Je vais assister à la réunion, which means I will attend the meeting. So see, the false friends have already started disturbing us, and our English brain at times is not very quick to differentiate between the two. So it's very important that we start to distinguish between the two. Okay, next is attendre. Anyone? What does attendre stand for? In English and in French, you'll have to clarify the meaning. Okay, we'll ask Kirti.
To wait for.
To wait for, and it doesn't mean as a false friend to attend. Right. So that's correct. So if you look at the sentence construction, j'attends le bus. I'm waiting for the bus. Right. So j'attends le bus doesn't mean that I'm attending the bus. Of course, that doesn't make sense. And even when someone wants to say, I want to attend the event, so this person is going to say, je vais assister à l'événement ou je vais assister à la cérémonie, whatever the event is, but not je vais attendre. That's going to be a false friend. So especially with the beginners, and especially with our students whom we are training, we have to tell them that you have to be very careful. These words seem to be similar, but they have got nothing to do in terms of their meanings.
Monsieur, j'attends impatiemment pour votre session.
Très bien, merci. Et je vous attends aussi. C'est un plaisir partagé. Alors, ensuite, nous avons, all right, I'll take you to the next one. So next one is, as you can see on the screen, it is, let's say. Yeah, Shubhashish, you want to try this one?
Endure.
Yeah, it is to hurt, to injure. Yeah, and not to bless, and not to bless at all. So we can see to hurt, to, yeah. So it doesn't mean to bless. So it's like a false friend. Il s'est blessé au genou. He hurt his knee. So here we understand that the word blesser is to hurt. Okay. Anyone for college? Anyone else? because we have a general tendency, our learners, when they are talking at A1 level, they would say, après, je vais à mon collège, and the person is at a university level. So they would say, yes, Srijita, you'd like to try this one?
Oui, monsieur. It is the middle school.
Yeah, that's the middle school. Exactly.
Middle
So college is the middle school. It has got nothing to do with the Indian education system wherein we have college, which is after our school. So it's not the same, but we tend to say so. So we have to be very careful that we be very sure of the meaning of this word, which is middle school. That's correct. So someone says, mon fils est au collège. Mon fils est au collège, which means my son is in the middle school. All right. Next word you have is, yeah, Parvati, you'd like to try?
It means reading.
La lecture is the reading, exactly. And what can we confuse it with?
As a professor gives a lecture in a university.
Très bien. Because normally when we talk at A1 level, why am I going back to A1 level? Because at senior level, people understand it very well. But at the beginners level, we tend to mix them up. And someone says, quelles sont vos passions? Ah, ma passion, c'est la lecture. Oh, you like to give lectures? No, no, no. Ma passion, c'est la lecture. So they end up thinking that this person is interested in giving lectures. In fact, that's not the intention. The intention is, I love reading. Voilà. That's correct, what you've just said. So, lecture is reading. J'adore la lecture. I love reading. All right, next word that we have is librairie. Yeah. I can see Shubhashish's hand. Anyone else? Come on, try. I'm sure you know it. Yeah, Bhavishi, you'd like to try? You'll have to unmute yourself, Bhavishi.
Oui, est-ce que c'est librarian?
Librairie, qu'est-ce que c'est en anglais? Ou en français, qu'est-ce que cela veut dire? It's the library? You want to say library, Bhavishi, en anglais?
No.
Non. Et alors, c'est quoi en anglais?
The librarian, the person.
Ah, the librarian, the person. Oh non, non, en fait, c'est pas ça. C'est pas ça. Librairie? That person is called a bibliothécaire. We call that a librarian.
D'accord, d'accord.
Is a bibliothécaire, the one who works in a library. Okay, Parvati, please help us.
Livre, en français, c'est un magasin où on achète des livres.
Voilà, absolument, c'est un endroit où on peut acheter des livres, ouais.
Et une bibliothèque, ça veut dire library en anglais.
Exactement. Et donc, librairie, ce mot, en français, qu'on trouve, cela n'a rien à voir avec le mot bibliothèque. It's not a library. C'est un endroit où on peut acheter des livres. Donc, it's a bookstore or a bookshop. Voilà, c'est ça.
Monsieur, on peut utiliser le mot bouquiniste aussi comme le synonyme de librairie?
Bouquiniste.
Oui.
Bouquiniste, I think bouquiniste, c'est la personne, non? Bouquiniste.
Also, chez le bouquin. Actually, no, I came to know this from a very old French lady, like who visited Calcutta, and one day them, being the interpreter to the guide. So this is very 4 old ladies, and the lady who interacted with me the most in English. So I was really, I told her, like, you know so good English. So she laughed and said, "Well, I'm a retired English teacher in France."
Right. Okay, that's true. So yeah, so bouquiniste, the word that you use. So bouquiniste is a salesperson, right? A bookseller. Bouquiniste. It's not the place.
We went to College Street, which is the popular book market of Calcutta.
Right.
Then she told me that like bookstores, we call them in our colloquial way, we call them bookie also.
A bookie.
So
okay. Just the word bookie.
Yeah, is it the bookie the colloquial way?
Okay, bookie, right. So yeah, that makes sense because it is the whole family is bookie. Then you have got bouquiniste, the person who sells, and then bouquiner. Bouquiner is to flip through the books pages, in the night time. Qu'est-ce que vous faites le soir avant de dormir? Avant de dormir, je bouquine un petit peu. So bouquiner is a verb wherein you flip through the pages, you run through some pages and you would want to read a little bit before going to bed. And then you have the way you say bouquet, and then bouquiniste is the person who sells books. D'accord?
Yeah. Okay. Merci, monsieur.
Je vous en prie. Ensuite, nous avons le mot. Alors, oui, ça c'est important. Pardon. Oui. Allez-y, qui est-ce qui peut expliquer? Who can tell this one? Yeah, Srijita, you'd like to try this one?
Yes, sir. Passer un examen means to sit for an exam.
To sit for an exam. Okay, and how does it confuse us as false friend?
To pass the exam. It is not to pass the exam, but to sit for the exams.
Absolument. Tout à fait, vous avez raison. Voilà. Et donc, quand on dit en français passer un examen, it's to write an exam. So to take an exam, to be a part of that exam, right? And not to clear the exam. Because in English, when you say, "Oh, I've passed my exam," it means you have cleared your exam. You're through, you're cleared. And demain je vais passer mon examen, c'est-à-dire I'm going to write my exam tomorrow. Voilà, vous avez raison, Srijita. Bravo. Okay.
And we said our is also, I think, is a faux ami.
Which one?
Like you don't have our raison.
Avoir raison. How come? Tell me.
Because see, our raison is to be right, but reason is like, is not to have reason, but to be correct.
Yeah. See, false friends exactly means, Shivashish, but it would have a misleading kind of an understanding for you. But avoir raison, if you break it, then you have sensible understanding of it.
Logically, it will be the thing.
Yeah, so logically it makes sense to have a reason. Oui, vous avez raison. You have a reason when you're saying. So instead of saying that you are right, I am saying that you have the reason, which makes sense. So you're right somewhere. These words, we see it from different angle. So you would say that in English it's said differently, but somewhere if we look at the base, it makes sense. Logic is same. But here, the word has no meaning at all with respect to the meaning that is given in French.
To appear and to pass, what the difference?
Yes, yeah, exactly. So see someone who says, j'ai passé mon examen with a lot of excitement. Someone who's learning French and thinks that, passing an exam means passer un examen. And he comes home and says, j'ai passé mon examen. And they're like, you have just written your exam, you haven't yet cleared it. So that can lead to... Yeah, réussi. Voilà, très bien. J'ai réussi mon examen, j'ai réussi à mon examen. Très bien. C'est ça.
So taught to me by Deepa madam.
Très bien. OK. Ensuite, on va continuer. On va passer vers... Oui, voilà, réaliser. Yeah. All right, I can see Monica. Yeah, Monica, comment est-ce qu'on peut comprendre le mot réaliser?
Réaliser, c'est-à-dire to achieve.
Réaliser is to achieve, voilà. And what is the false friend that we confuse it with?
To realize.
To realize, yes, that's true. But nowadays in the modern usage, I've heard many French people use this word. J'ai réalisé mon erreur. J'ai réalisé mon erreur. What does that mean? I realized my error. But the initial part of it, the main part of it is always and always to achieve, to accomplish, right? Il a réalisé son rêve. He accomplished or he realized, he achieved his dream as a dream. But to realize, it was my fault, you would say, je me suis rendu compte. Je me suis rendu compte que c'était ma faute. But please be ready to get these kind of sentences as well about réaliser, to realize, the way we have in English by French people who have an understanding of English. At the same time, they do it. So I've seen this a lot these days. Yeah. All right. Any point on this réaliser word?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, Srijita.
So réaliser can also mean to direct a film, right? Réaliser un film. Is it correct, sir?
So we have to understand the context then. If you say réaliser un film, then how do you you brought it to reality. You brought it to its shape. You accomplished it that way.
Or just simply produced, to produce. It can mean to produce.
Yeah, to produce, yeah, to really bring it in the final shape. J'ai réalisé un film. So yeah, then again, you have to be in the context. Otherwise, you would say, like metteur en scène, we say réalisateur So metteur en scène ou réalisateur. So j'ai réalisé beaucoup de films. So if we are in the context, it does make sense. If you're in the context, right? But otherwise, j'ai réalisé un film. So we would not be sure just a little sentence in there, but you have to be in the context that you're talking about a movie, and then you said that il a réalisé beaucoup de films aussi. Bien sûr, on peut comprendre ça. We can totally understand. Yeah.
So one more point for passé. It's good to note that as a reflexive verb, se passer, again, it changes the whole meaning. And
Yes,
for
indeed.
new learners, se passer means to happen.
To happen, yes. Absolutely. Très bien. Merci Parvati, merci Shujita. On va continuer. Voilà. Ensuite, nous avons le mot délai. So what do you understand by that? Délai. And how does it mix the understanding of the English word? Yes? Okay. Bhaveshi, you want to try? No, I think Shubhashish. Shubhashish?
Yeah. Is it something to do with the timeline?
Yeah, so how do you see that?
Like this is the maximum time you can complete your work, like a deadline.
Right. Yes.
And we can we get confused with delay. I mean, don't delay the work.
Right. Yes. So I'll just quickly show this one to you. So it is just a second. Voilà. Hop. Oui, c'est ça. Vous avez raison, Shubhashish. Délai, c'est-à-dire delay in terms of the deadline and not the delay, le retard. So the delay in English is retard in French. So in our sense, our French sense, when we say délai, it is the deadline. Le délai pour le projet est court, which means the deadline for this project is short. That's correct. Très bien, Shubhashish. Okay. The next one is injurier. What could that mislead us? Yeah? Shubhashish, you want to try this one? Come on, give it a try. Injurier.
Yes. Injury, like the word blessed that I told, like injury, like hurt. That is the mistake. And it is something maybe to say something offensive.
Right. Yeah, you're right. Yes, to insult, absolutely. Il a injurié son collègue. Il a injurié son collègue, which means he insulted his colleague. So it doesn't mean to injure someone or to hurt someone in a physical way. It's not at all that. It is indeed there's some kind of injury that happens, but it's at the emotional level. So it's the insult that's being inflicted upon someone. All right, let's move to the next one. Next we have rude, which in English is like a rude. Any guesses for this one? Bhavesh, you want to try? I see your hand raised. Rude. Any guesses? What could that mean? Yeah, Parvati, you want to try this one? Rude.
Does it mean raw?
That is crude. That is crude. Crude.
Okay, désolé.
Yeah, so that is cru. In French, we have cru, and of course, the word in English is crude, which is crude, cru. I mean, I was just trying to give the French style to the English word, but the French word is cru, cru. That's how you would say. Right. So, what could that mean? Crude. Yeah, Shubhashish, you want to try?
Is it rough or harsh?
Okay. I see one more hand raised. That was, yeah, I think you are on the track. I think that was, I don't know, I saw some hand raised. Anyway, so that's correct. So I will take you to this meaning. That means something that is difficile, dur. So, which in English is like harsh. So, l'hiver est rude ici. L'hiver est rude ici, which means the winters are harsh here, or the winter, it's difficult to get through this season. So rude, it's not impolite, it's not rude as in English, right? Because in English, when you say rude in French, it becomes impoli. That is impoli.
Yeah, and I recall a long time I came across the word rudement somewhere in a novel or somewhere while I was doing my masters.
Rudiment,
There was
yeah.
rudement. So rudement, like that was in my mind. So something very harsh or something very rough.
Okay. So yeah, that's true. So in that case, I'll just let you know that I think what was the spelling? Are you talking about Rudiment?
No, Rudement, I guess.
Rudement. Okay, fine. Because there is another word that is Rudiment. Yeah. So you're right. When you say rudement, that's again harshly or roughly. Voilà.
It's one of the
That's right.
Canadian novels. I don't recall, but I think it's one of the Canadian novels in French. So there I came
Okay.
across this word.
You're right. So that was the adverb. So rude becomes rudement. That's correct. All right. Next word is again an important word, sensible, sensible. So how do we distinguish the two from French and English? Yeah, Srijita, you want to try?
Yes, sir. So can it be that it is sensitive rather than sensible?
Yeah, absolutely. So the French word sensible in English becomes sensitive, and it's not sensible. In English, it is not sensible. That's correct. So someone who is, il est très, when we say il est très sensible, he's very sensitive. Elle est très sensible, she's very sensitive. That's what we say. So it doesn't mean that he or she is sensible. Because someone who is sensible, we will call it differently. We call this person raisonnable. So you're right. So sensible in French is sensitive in English, and sensible in English is raisonnable in French. Oui, c'est clair?
Oui. Mais on peut utiliser le mot comme ça. Les chiens ont les nez sensibles.
Oui,
Does it make
tout à fait. Oui, oui, tout à fait. Oui. So it's very sensitive. You want to say the sensitive sense of it?
Yeah, means the,
Yes.
the nose is sensitive.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely. Yeah, you can say so. Voilà, on va continuer. Alors, ensuite, oui. Affaire. So, how do we understand this one? Affaire. Yeah, Shubhashish would like to try, and you have to distinguish between the English version and the French version.
Business,
Ah,
business.
Yes. Yeah, but I don't know. Bhavishi, you want to try? Let's listen to Bhavishi.
Yeah, affair means in French it means business, but affair in English, like we have an affair with a
Yes, yeah. So some love affair, some
love
emotional
affair.
connection. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. So see, that's why at the very outset we said that if this word is not rightly understood, a business deal can become such catastrophic ending for us if we don't use it in the right way. That's correct. So affaire in French is business, and affair we understand it's in. So what do we call an affair? The English affair in French, it is une aventure amoureuse. That's called an
And
une
one
aventure.
more thing can be things like ranger les affaires.
Sorry?
Ranger les affaires.
Ah, ranger ses affaires. Yeah, ranger ses affaires. Yeah. To put one's stuff in right place. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. J'ai une affaire importante à gérer, which means I have an important business or a bit important deal to handle. Voilà. The next one is formation. Any guesses? How do we understand this word in English and French? Yeah, Bhavishi?
Formation is training.
Right. It's a training in the French sense. And in English, when we say formation,
Formation is
formation, any kind of creation or
creation or forming something.
forming, absolutely. Il suit une formation en marketing. So he is undergoing a training in marketing. That's correct. All right. Next word, I'm sorry. Yeah, next word that we have is préciser. What does that verb mean? Any guesses? How do we understand it from the false friend's perspective? Yeah, Shivashi, you want to try? Préciser.
Yeah, it means not to make it precisely short. So in English, it might mean to make it precise, like, but it should be like to specify or to,
Oh,
point out things.
absolutely. Wonderful. Absolutely. It doesn't mean too precise because there is no such verb. I don't know if in English there's anything called too precise because
No,
normally,
it's a wrong verb in English. It's a wrong word in English. To make
right.
something precise.
Yes, to clarify. Préciser is to clarify, to explain in detail. That's called préciser. Yeah. So to specify what you rightly said, to specify is what we say to precise, I mean, precisely, or whenever we use the English word. So in French, the word préciser in English becomes to specify. So, pourriez-vous préciser votre demande? For example, the sentence, the question that we have on the screen. Pouvez-vous préciser votre demande? Could you please specify your request? And not could you precise? No, that will not make sense. All right, let's move to the next one. Yeah. This one. Yes, any guesses? Bhavish, you want to try this one? Location, location. You'll have to unmute Bhavish if you're saying something. I can see Kashmira as well. Kashmira, bonjour, you want to try this one?
Oui, location is the rent, renting.
Is it? Yeah, that's true. And it is not what
It's
it
not
is.
location.
It's not location.
location.
Exactly. Yeah. So we end up, confusing location with the location. But you're right, Kashmira. Location, c'est-à-dire the rental part of it. Je cherche une location pour mes vacances. So I'm looking for a rental for my holidays. And the location, the word location in English, in French becomes localisation or la position. La position, la localisation, and not la location. All right, another important word that we have is demander. Yeah, Srijita, what could that mean?
Demander, to ask and not to demand.
Absolutely, demander is to ask and not to demand, which we are learners. I wouldn't say we, because maybe when we traveled this journey, we had the same idea, but now we are over it. So, je vais demander un renseignement. I'm going to ask for an information. That's correct. This one, another important word is prétendre. Any guesses? What can that prétendre verb mean? It's somewhat like English word. Any guesses? Bhavish, you want to try? I see your hand raised. You'll have to unmute yourself. No, I think Bhavish is experiencing some technical glitch, perhaps. Yeah, Kashmira, you would want to try, please, this one?
Prétendre is to admit.
To admit? To accept?
No, correct. It's not to pretend. It's not to pretend.
Okay, perfect. It's not to pretend. Yeah, one thing is for sure. It's not to pretend. But could you be more specific with the answer? To pretend, I mean, it's not the pretend, but what is prétendre en français? To admit. Is that so?
To admit. To admit.
To admit as in to accept.
Oh.
That is, no, is that so? You're saying, Kashmira?
I think it's to claim.
Yes, it is to claim. That's a better, yeah. So we'll see how. For example, he claims to be a doctor. Il prétend être médecin. He claims to be a doctor. It doesn't mean he pretends to be a doctor and he's not. No, that doesn't mean at all. What Kashmira said was right, that it's not to pretend, it's to claim. Right, Bhavishi, your answer is correct. And someone who pretends, that word in French becomes faire semblant. Yeah, that's correct. Faire semblant is to pretend. I don't know if you have heard a very famous song of Jodassin. Et si tu n'existais pas, there he says, voilà, je peux faire semblant d'être heureux or something of this sort. So I can act, I can pretend, but that won't be me. That won't be myself, my real self. Right. Okay, moving to the next one. It is inscription. Yes. Yeah, Shubhashish.
Inscription is like, it's not inscription. It's basically like to take a membership or something.
Yes, you're right. Perfect. It's not an inscription, because an inscription in French is gravure. Gravure, and it is right now what we see inscription is the registration or a membership, what you rightly say. Très bien. Okay. Traîner. Traîner is what isn't and what it is. Traîner, any guesses? Yeah, Parvati, what can be traîner?
It doesn't mean to train someone, that's former, but it means to lead.
Traîner, to lead. Won't it be diriger, to lead? Traîner is to drag. To
Okay.
drag, right?
Yeah, that's the word, yeah.
Yeah, so drag, yeah. So you drag something, and but to train someone is entraîner or former, what you rightly say, Parvati. And il traîne une valise lourde. So he is dragging a heavy suitcase. All right. Let's move to the next one. Rester, I'm sure everyone of us knows this one. Yeah. Srijita, you want to try this one?
Yes, sir. Rester, to stay and not to rest.
Yeah, very good. Rester is to stay and not to rest. So it's a false friend. You're right. Next one. Yeah, I see Ajay. Ajay, over to you. Supporter.
It is not to support. This is soutenir verb to support.
Yes. Très bien. Supporter. So what is supporter in?
To tolerate. To tolerate.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So that's important and interesting that we should know that we know what these words otherwise mean in French and what they would mean in English if we were to go for their real sense, that way. So supporter is to tolerate, and to support is soutenir. That's correct. Perfect. Très bien. On va continuer. Un autre mot, nous avons éventuellement. So what it doesn't mean in English and what it really means in English? Kashmira, you would want to try? Eventually.
It's not eventually.
It's not eventually. Very good. It's not eventually. That's true.
Is it
Then what is
finally? Finally?
Not finally exactly, because that again eventually means finally.
Is it indeed by any chance?
Sorry,
No,
what?
Indeed? No.
Not even indeed.
It is possibly.
Yeah, it is possibly.
Possibly.
Possibly, you're right. So see, our English brain is at times so hard on us that we are not able to find the meaning. So that's true. So we have to understand that it is not, it's not eventually, it's possibly. So il viendra éventuellement demain. He might possibly come tomorrow. All right. Another one is a relative, or j'ai beaucoup de relative. We've heard the beginners say this. So it's not that sense. I'll show this one to you. So a relative is this word. It does exist, but then it largely exists as I would say as an adjective in French. So like relative, we can have these. So, but if we were to talk about relatives, then we would go for les membres de la famille. So this is a word that is generally misused by students who just start to talk about their extended families. J'ai beaucoup de relative, which doesn't make sense because they do find that word relative or relative in French, which is especially the adjective part of it.
Can we say les proches?
Les proches, tout à fait. Les proches, bien sûr.
Les proches.
Les proches, tout à fait. Ouais. Another word is définitivement. Anyone which doesn't mean définitivement? It doesn't mean what?
Definitely.
Definitely, Kashmira, you're right. Definitely, définitivement, definitely doesn't mean definitely. So what does it mean? Yeah, Shivashi, you'd like to try? Définitivement.
Is it like finally or anything like related to end of something?
Yeah, so définitivement, it means permanently.
Oh.
Once and for all, permanently. So it's not definitely, it's not pakke se, it's not confirmed way mein, no. It's like permanently. So it's not in that sense, definitely. So, for example, il a quitté la France définitivement. If you see the second last sentence, it reads, il a quitté la France définitivement, which means he left France permanently, right? That was the sense. All right. Next, the small words that trouble us at times. Sal, sail. In French, yes, Shujita?
It means dirty in
So
French.
sal is dirty, but it
Yes.
is not sale.
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, so sal is dirty, and it's not the sail, the word we have in English. That's right.
And
Okay, I can see.
one, if
Yeah,
we put an accent, does it become salty?
and it does sale. That's true. So
Salad
see,
becomes salty.
you're right, Shubhashish. That's why, we are very particular when we teach French. I'm sure all teachers are, we all are, that please be very careful with the accents. And students at the very outset, they're not too careful with the accent. They put it anywhere and everywhere, not even looking at the direction in which it's a rising one or a falling one. So, but that's true. Okay, next one is sleep. These are false friends. They have a certain meaning in English, and that's not the same meaning in French. This is a French word, so that's
Sleep. Yeah.
yeah. Shubhashish,
Quelquefois, on dit combinaison aussi. Pour
combinaison. Oui,
combinaison, oui.
combinaison. Oui, vous avez raison. Yeah, that's correct, Smitaji. Yeah, so it's like an innerwear. So underwear, so that's sleep. And of course, in English, it's to slip. You glisser, you would fall that way. Another word that we have on the screen is car. So let's see. Yeah, Ajay, you'd like to help us with this word, car?
It's because and not with you.
Yes. And any other meaning of car that we have in French, which is not the same as in English?
Basco.
Bus, like small.
Yes, you're right, Shubhashish. So that's correct. What we got from Smitaji and Ajay, that it's Pasco. It also means car, means a bus, a long route bus from one point to other point is also a car.
Is it also coach?
Yeah, the coach.
Coach.
The coach.
Yeah, very often we use autocar also for
Autocar.
coach.
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, that's why, because yeah, you're right, Smitaji, because it runs on the highways from one destination to another one non-stop or with limited stops. So that's a car. That's what they would use. Très bien. Then comes this word. Yeah, Ajay, what is this French word? Ajay, you will have to unmute yourself.
It's a flash, not chair as shown.
Yeah, it's not chair in English, but it's the flesh. Yeah. So the non-veg that we talk about. Another one is peuvent. I can see Kirti. Yeah, Kirti, over to you.
It's something like the cellar of a house.
You're right. Yeah, that's cellar. So, for example, nous avons une cave où nous stockons du vin. So, in our house, we have a cellar or a basement where we stock our wine. So, it's not a cave because a cave in French is grotte, Grotte. So, when we talk about caves, we say grotte. And when we talk about the basement or a cellar, we would say cave. That's correct. Perfect. All right. What about this word? Yeah, Ajay.
It's not corner. It's a coin is corner, not a coin.
Yeah, you're right. In French, coin is corner, not coin at all. You're right. All right, perfect. Next, we have one.
Mean.
Yeah, this one.
Main is hand and not mean.
Yeah, na is hand and not main, right? This is the main part of the movie, so it's not the main. That's true.
Arm.
Yeah, the hand. Yeah. And then we have another word is the way you Shubhashish started the whole discussion, pain, which is very interesting because I heard somewhere, I don't know, on a very, very, very light note, I heard there was a picture here and there. I don't know if you saw it, that the French teachers in the morning, they eat pain. It's such painful life they have to teach French. So it was on a very funny way that the French
starts with this line like French teachers are so great that they eat pain in the breakfast.
Yeah, exactly. That's true, Ajay. Right.
So, and one more thing is pav.
Another one is
Pav.
pav.
Pav bhaji.
Okay.
It is similar to pav, which is pav bhaji.
Right, that's true. It's you know the imagination and the creativity. How do you bring it? Okay, next is what about this word? Anyone? What does this word mean in English and French, which have no similarities? Bouton. Any guesses? Bouton.
It's definitely not button.
Yeah, it's definitely not button.
It's lamb.
Yeah.
Lamb.
I didn't get. Yeah. So bouton, when the acnes that one gets.
Okay, bouton. Okay.
So bouton. Yeah, we call them bouton.
What is bouton?
A bouton are the acne, the pimples that one can have.
Okay.
That's bouton. Right? Okay. Then next we have any guesses for this one?
Right.
Bribe. So it isn't bribe in English, because bribe in English, you know, what people might actually extend in a financial way to get their work done is said something else in French. It's in a French word, but bribe is not bribe. Any guesses? Questions you want to try?
It's like to take away something, snatch, you can say.
Bribe means fragments, small portions. It's called bribe. Bribe in French means small portions. For example, you could say bribe de conversation. Bribe de conversation means it's a small piece of conversation, a small little term that you bring out.
Monsieur, épelez s'il vous plaît. Le
mot.
mot.
Bribe, B-R-I-B-E. Bribe, ce que vous voyez sur l'écran. Bribe. Bribe de conversation. Une bribe de conversation.
Il a ramassé une bribe de pain.
Yeah, so in this case, when we see il a ramassé une bribe de pain, he picked up a little breadcrumb, which means a little piece. So in French, the word bribe means a small piece, and the word in English, bribe, in French becomes pot de vin. If you can see this pot de vin means the bribe that one receives or one gives to get work done. Okay, right. Let's move ahead. Another word is balance. I hope you understand the difference. I'll quickly show this. So balance. Voilà. So j'utilise une balance. So balance is basically the scale, and it is not balance how you would see it in a different way. Okay. So next is agenda. Any guesses for this word agenda? Yeah, Ajay, you want to try agenda?
Say diary.
Right, exactly. So it's a, it's a planner, it's a notebook, it's a diary. Okay, and then next one is
Stage.
Yeah, Kirti, you would want to try stage?
Stage is definitely not stage. It's internship or some project you undertake while studying.
Yes, it's not a stage, it's an internship. That's right. Ensuite, nous avons exposé. Oh, I'm sure all the Delft people know it very well. You have prepared people or you prepared yourself. Exposé. So what it doesn't mean?
A gist of something, I mean.
Yeah. So exposé doesn't mean to expose in French sense. It means to present.
To exhibit.
Yeah, to exhibit. Yeah, to exhibit. That's correct. Yeah. Yeah, Kirti, you'd like to say something on that?
Exposition. Oui, comme une exposition.
Voilà, c'est le nom. C'est le nom.
Exposition.
Expose. Voilà. That's correct. There are two nouns. One is exposé and one is also exposition. Both are correct.
Yeah. It can be hard to live. Don't feel like living, but bounds.
Sorry, which one?
I mean, I don't feel like anything, but I'm bound to live now.
Oh, you have to leave.
So,
No worries, no worries, Shubhashish. Thank you for joining us.
A lot from this.
Thank you. It's a mutual, learning for all of us. I'll be sharing the link of this, recorded session. Perfect. Thank you, Shubhashish. Quickly moving ahead, the next word is bénéfice. What does that mean? Bénéfice.
Beneficial.
Okay, that's correct, Kashmir, but it has very specific usage. So whenever we say bénéfice, how do we understand it? So anything that is related with profits, with money, only there we use the word bénéfice. Otherwise, any kind of benefit that we draw from anything, that is an avantage. An avantage. So
benefit is profit.
Profit, yes. Benefits is profit related to money. The profit that we draw, especially with the financial aspect of something. So, l'entreprise a réalisé un bénéfice important cette année. Right? And if you were to say benefits, so you would say l'exercice physique a de nombreux avantages pour la santé. Next is caractère. What can that mean, caractère?
A digit.
Pardon?
Any digit?
Any details?
Digit, numbers.
Digits. Caractère. Okay. Yeah, but that would be the same in English, characters. Right? So we are trying to see something that is a false friend. Srijita, you want to try this one? Caractère.
So character can be symbol and not character.
So in this context, when we say il a un caractère magnifique, so when we say about a character, it is not a character, his character. So of course you understand, character is a personnage. So when we say caractère in French, we are talking about someone's temperament, someone's personality. Right? So a sentence that you see on the screen, everyone, elle a un caractère très fort. She has a very strong personality. So that's called caractère, is a personality. All right. Of course, next one is s'engager. So it doesn't mean to get engaged as in a way that you to get committed.
Oneself. To commit oneself.
Yeah. Yes. So to get involved, but in some work and otherwise, and not in engagement that people move ahead with before the marriages. So that's the false friend. Next we have introduire. So introduire, at times it is just like the English word to introduce. I'm going to introduce our new boss, So that's not introduire, that's présenter. So this is a word that we could at times mix up with the other one, which is, it means to insert. For example, il faut introduire la clé dans la serrure pour ouvrir la porte. So you have to insert the key in the lock to open the door. So that's the sense, and not je vais t'introduire à mon ami Paul. No, that will not make sense, because you'd always present someone when you introduce someone. We're left with, yeah.
Excuse me. Sir, what is introduce is called présenter.
Présenter quelqu'un. Right? So maybe as an English influence, we might think, oh, introduire quelqu'un. No, it can never be introduire quelqu'un. It's always présenter quelqu'un. We are left with just 2-3 more words. Yeah, déception. What can that mean? Déception. I think 2 words, yeah.
Disappointment.
Disappointment, right. It's not a deception. English word, deception. You're right, Kashmira. Bravo. It doesn't mean, it's a disappointment. Yeah. So, and it's not deception, because deception means when we hide something from someone, that is a deception. But in French sense, it means disappointment. So, sa déception était immense après l'échec de son projet. So his deception was immense after his project failed. So this is correct what Kashmira said about this. Deception is disappointment. Yeah. And to wrap up today's little session on Faux, we have the last word, which is allure. What can that mean? So, allure.
Is it to brighten? I think I'm not sure.
Okay, that's an interesting one. Yeah, Katie, you want to try?
Oui, monsieur. Allure, c'est elle a une allure fatiguée,
Okay.
like a look or an aura.
Yes, absolutely. So it's a look or an appearance, and it's not the allure, the English word. It has got nothing to do with that because that means attirance, the attraction. So if you were to use just the appearance, you would say in the French style, cette femme a une allure très élégante. This lady has a very elegant appearance. Voilà. Ok, très bien. C'est ça. I hope these false friends are clear to you, and I'm sure you already knew some of them, but others, if you had no idea about, or you want that your students should always understand them in the right way, be very particular with them, and I'm sure we all will move ahead with a strong understanding of these words and would never end up mixing them up. All right. So, thank you so much. Merci beaucoup d'être venu assister à cette séance. Je vous souhaite bonne soirée et à très bientôt. Au revoir. Merci.
Bonsoir à toi aussi.
Merci.
Merci.
Au revoir.
Bonsoir.
Au revoir.